So, Generation Z and the newer generations. Have you ever wondered what it was like to be an anime fan back in the 90s and the early 2000s? Let's find out.
Hello guys, don't forget to like this video, don't forget to subscribe, and hit that little bell right there so that you can get notifications every time I upload a video. Okay? Enjoy.
So, I am a millennial. Well, first of all, welcome to Andy RCB. This is your boy Andy Matrix. And today we're going to talk about what it was like to be an anime fan back in the early 2000s. And I gotta say, dude, well, first of all, I didn't find out about anime conventions until 2002, 2011, 2012, right? The first convention I went to was in Connecticut, ConnectiCon here in the state of Connecticut of America. And I mean, I first went to Comic-Con in 2011, and then in 2012 I went to ConnectiCon. But before that, like in the early 2000s, 2000s and 2001, 2002, 2003, 2005, 2006, all the way to 2010, there was a lot of loneliness. It was kind of lonely. It was kind of lonely, you know what I mean? But anyways, yeah, it wasn't as popular. And the thing is, it was harder to find. And sure, you were limited to the amount of anime that you could watch on Cartoon Network, which was, if you guys remember cable television, Cartoon Network was a thing. And then there was, if you could afford it through, to cable television, if you could afford the Anime Network, that you had to pay, like I think like an extra couple of dollars on your cable TV. So if you have like DirecTV, I don't know, Cablevision, you have to pay an extra fee so that you can get the anime channel on your television network. So then you can watch anime that were running in Japan. But but even though in that channel, in the anime network on cable television, on Cablevision, you still have to watch the anime that were available there, and they didn't play it by episodes. Like in one week they will have episode 5 through 6, 5 through 8, and then like next week they will only have episode 9 through 12. So really, you sometimes you couldn't even see like all the you couldn't even see like the beginning of an anime. Sometimes you would just have to watch it in between. I remember when the Final Fantasy anime came out back in the early 2000s. I watched it at my friend's house because, I came from like from a Latino family that, just didn't like that shit. So, and, we couldn't afford it. So I went to my friend's house to watch it. That's how you do it. Always have good friends that are willing to like help you out. So I went to my friend's house, and yeah, so I would watch the Final Fantasy anime, but it was like I couldn't watch it from the beginning. It was always from like episode 5, episode 20. Some episode like that was like later in the season, in the saga, whatever. So and that's how it used to be. And also, you would have to, being an anime fan back in the early 2000s, it was expensive. Okay, I don't know if you guys remember, but those VHS tapes before the CDs, CD DVDs, what was that thing? It was like sometimes it could be $10 to $20 depending on where you got it from. It was kind of pricey, and yeah, it was pricey. You had to bother your parents a lot so that you can watch certain anime. I remember I had a friend who would he would buy, because he was much older, he would buy like all these stacks of DVDs from this website online, and he will get the animes directly from a Japan retailer, but it will be in Japanese, but it will have subtitles, so you could at least understand what they're saying through the subtitles, right? And this was before it became like this huge thing in the late 2000s. And so yeah, it was expensive, guys. We didn't have Crunchyroll, we didn't have Netflix, we didn't have, and I'm starting to feel really old. We didn't have a lot of shit. And as far as online, yeah, there were, you could find some things online. You could, like, if you're one of those sketchy people, I mean, who didn't do it? I mean, even I myself, I torrented, and some of my friends also torrented certain anime series that we really wanted to watch, but we couldn't because it wasn't available anywhere. But we found it online. And back then, really back in the early 2000s and late 90s, the only thing that was available was Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, eventually Naruto caught up in America. What else? I think the Ranma DVDs, I think. Well, because the thing is, manga was being sold everywhere. Manga was huge. You could go to your local Barnes and Nobles. You could read manga. You can buy manga. I remember one of my friends actually will go to a Barnes and Nobles and he will steal manga and other books from the Barnes and Nobles, little bastard. But anyways, what are you gonna do? So yeah, so manga was everywhere, but it was the anime. Outside of Cartoon Network, you couldn't really watch much. Cartoon Network had Dragon Ball Z. I think at some point they had Wolf Rain, which is old back in. Outlaw Star was in Cartoon Network. Sailor Moon made it to Cartoon Network. What else? But it was mainly Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z was a shit back then. But then in other countries, like in South America, they had more anime. They had more anime in South America because they were actually more open to it. Like I think in Mexico, they had the original Dragon Ball with Little Goku way before it came out in America, like in the 70s, like in the 80s and 90s. And they also had Saint Seiya, which was Saint Seiya Knights of the Zodiac, which was very old. It's a very old anime, and it never made it to America in the 90s and 80s, but it was available in South America. So South America invested in anime way before America did. But poof, it boomed here in America because we're fucking nerds. What else can you do? So yeah, man. And when you went to school, people will still make fun of you. There were a lot of closet, besides Dragon Ball Z, if you watch anything else, it was like you were made fun of. It's, you freaking nerd. You were made fun of. Like everybody loved Dragon Ball Z, but other than that, forget it, man. It just wasn't gonna happen. Anything else, like, I mean, some people like Sailor Moon. The girls like Sailor Moon, but if you told them that you watch like Naruto or like some other like anime, or like if you watch a like a romance anime like Love Hina or Ayori Ayoshi back then, you were still made fun of. You were still considered like this fucking dweeb loser who was really into that shit. I know Yu-Gi-Oh became super popular thanks to Kids WB and other anime. Pokemon was always popular, but Pokemon was considered for kids. Yu-Gi-Oh was considered for kids. So now it's more acceptable that an older person in their late 20s and 30s would be into anime. That's kind of normal because even celebrities like anime now. But if you strayed outside of the norm back then, you were made fun of, and a lot of guys. There were a lot of closet anime people because some guys thought that they couldn't get laid if they told their girlfriend that they like anime. Some people, they just they will watch Dragon Ball Z or Naruto, but they would never tell a soul. They will keep it on the low. And I mean, it was one hell of a show. There were so many closet anime geeks, and yeah, there were some anime conventions, but I mean, you really had to look, and you really had to be in a circle of people that were really into anime to find these events, like to find these anime events. these anime conventions. Like I think I forgot. I think Anime Expo I think it was Anikatsukan was really was went back, or Sakura-kan and Akatsukan, I think, were anime conventions that were way popular that started back in the late 90s and early 2000s. But there was no internet to spread the word. That's the problem. There was no internet. Okay, thanks to the internet, anime is now more popular than fucking ever. Even Hollywood is investing into anime. Although they don't really care about the shows, they just kind of want to make money off of it. But whatever, we're getting live action anime. We're getting original series invested in by Netflix. And even Crunchyroll is starting to make their own anime. And I think Hulu, I don't know if Hulu's doing it, but Hulu's owned by Disney. So who the fuck knows what they're doing? And yeah, that's what it was like. There was a lot of loneliness, unless you found, your crowd, your group that was into the same thing as you. Yeah, so guys were like really afraid to tell people. But however, there was Cartoon Network, there was the Anime Network, and it was really expensive to be an anime fan. But now, being an anime fan is now more affordable than ever. I mean, less than $10 a month, you can sign up for Netflix, Crunchyroll. You can watch as much of it. I mean, I say figurines have always been expensive. Manga has always cost $10, $12. But overall, it's now more affordable than ever to be a fucking weeb. And that is it for this video, guys. Yeah, so, I mean, thank you for watching. I mean, tell me your story. Leave a comment below. Were you a 90s kid? Were you an early 2000s kid? What was it like being an anime fan? What was it like being an anime fan for you back in the days? Back when, in the dinosaur ages of being an anime fan and getting bullied and picked on and shit and made fun of because you like fucking animated, cartoons from another country. So that is it, guys. Make sure to leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Tell me your story. Leave a comment below. Like this video. Don't forget to subscribe. And this is Animatrix. Peace out, dudes. Also, if you're on a mobile device, remember that you can subscribe to my channel by hitting the subscription button right here. And also the little bell notification icon for future videos right there. And this is better because YouTube tends to unsubscribe people automatically for whatever reason, because of YouTube's policies, rules, and whatever it is that they're doing. So that is it, guys.